Man, it's so good. Now, the redheaded stepchild of the Porsche lineup has always been the Boxster. And when it was first unveiled at the 1993 Frankfurt Motor Show, people were like, that's a cool concept, but it's not a 911. Now, when it came out in 1997, again, people said, that's a cool car, but it's not a 911. And many of people deny that this specific car saved Porsche. Porsche was gonna go bankrupt. The Boxster saved them from that because it was a cheap, mid-engine, basically sports car that you can get your hands on and have a great time driving. Now, I have personally had a Boxster. I had the first generation. Mine was a 2003 986 Boxster S with the 3.2 liter flat six. And I personally love that car. It's one of the best driving cars I've ever had. 6-speed manual, great car. This right here is the all new version of my old car. This is the 2022 Boxster, or 718, because they changed the name, 718 Boxster GTS, which means it's got the 4-liter flat six from a certain 911 in it, and it's glorious. It is glorious. I'm gonna show you guys why this is one of the best Porsches you can get your hands on. My name is Evo, and you're watching God Next. This is the 4th generation of the Boxster Cayman lineup, and as I mentioned earlier, I had the first generation, which came out in 97. This specific one came out in 2017. That's when they changed the name moniker to 718. Now, I think Porsche did that to kind of reduce the confusion of Boxster Cayman and whatnot, so it's all 718, and they really did do good on the styling. I love the way the new Boxster Cayman lineup looks. You know, I'm a bigger fan of the Cayman, but the Boxster's great if you're looking for that open top experience, because they're essentially the same car. You just have one has a roof, the other one partially has a roof. But yeah, great looking car, especially on the GTS 4.0. You have those dual rear exhausts. This specific one does have the clear rear taillights, which make it look absolutely stunning. And then of course, this black paint job is very sleek. I mean, it's a very sleek looking car. And the GTS 4.0 does get this extendable rear spoiler, which with the touch of a button does come out to give you that added downforce. Now, in terms of the powertrain on this specific car, this uses a very special engine. There's a reason it's called the GTS 4.0, and that is the 4-liter naturally aspirated flat six that's in cars like, I don't know, the GT3 and GT3 RS. Now, of course, it doesn't make 518 horsepower like it does in those cars. Porsche detuned it for the specific application here. It's got about 394 horsepower and like 310 pound-feet of torque. And I'm gonna tell you guys, in a car this light, it makes a crazy amount of difference. I mean, you don't need 500 horsepower. That might be a little scary. The 394 is perfect. It's very quick. And of course, it's made it to Porsche's God-given transmission, which is the PDK, or Porsche Doppelkopf. I just butchered that because I don't speak German. But you can get that with the PDK 8-speed, or there is a manual option, which, depending on what you want. The PDK, of course, is faster. It gets you from 0 to 60 in about 3.9 seconds, which is just awesome. And with the right setup, I mean, from the factory, the car sounds pretty good, but if you do an aftermarket exhaust on this, it's gonna sound insane. In fact, let me let you guys have a quick listen. Now, the interior of the 718 GTS is a very nice place to be. This specific car, as I mentioned, is black on the outside, optioned with Luxor beige on the seats, and then a lot of the stitching is beige as well. It is an absolutely nice place to be. I mean, for the price you're paying for this car, you would expect it to be. And just because it's not a 911, it does not mean that this car does not have a nice interior. It absolutely does. It's just as nice as the 911, in my opinion, that we did the previous few videos ago, the turbo. I mean, you have stitching all over the dash, stitching everywhere. Of course, the beautiful center console with all of the exhaust options and everything that you can modify. You do have Porsche's infotainment system, which does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is great. You have the typical Porsche lineup in the middle. You do have the tach, you have the speedometer, and then of course some other information on the side. Now, to be fair, the new 992 911 does have the full digital dash aside from the tach. This one has not been updated yet, but Porsche is going to update the 718 soon. But I mean, absolutely stunning place to be. And I'm very glad that somebody optioned it with the beige interior. I think it's different. Now, you can option, of course, with black if that's your thing. You can get it with red. There's a slew of options, which is awesome. But I think this makes it look very high-end, very classy. this specific car with this interior gives me Monaco vibes. It's just, it feels like it's a very high-end, like luxury, just expensive car. But there's only one thing left to do. Let's start this thing up. Let's take it down that street, and let me show you guys why I think this is one of the best Porsches you could buy. In the 2022 718 Boxster GTS, I gotta tell you guys, it is a work of art, this car. It drives so well. And right now I have it in normal mode, so the exhaust is not open, it's baffled, but it sounds so good. And I mean, it drives really good too. I mean, the car, wherever you point it, it goes. And of course, that's to be expected. It's mid-engine. It is very driver focused. It's planted. The engine's right behind you. So at all times, honestly, this car inspires so much confidence. At all times, you know exactly where the car's gonna go, which is the best feeling. I mean, you should have a car that you know where it's gonna go when you point it. It is rear-wheel drive, so it can get a little skirty sometimes depending on what you're doing, but you don't really have any traction issues with this car because of the because of how it's mounted and everything. But yeah, let me switch it into sport mode. We'll turn the exhaust baffles on, and we'll let it do its thing. I mean, this thing is it's a fun car to drive, and of course with the PDK, it is pretty quick too. So. Oh yeah. And I gotta tell you guys, that 4-liter flat six, it sounds so good. This is the engine that you should be getting in this car. The flat 4 is okay, it's whatever, it's decently quick. But this is where it's at. And then of course, let's go ahead and switch into manual. Oh my God, no, it's so good. It's so crisp and it's just so instant. I mean, I click the paddle and it shifts. Now in here, you know, you do get a little bit more road noise if you go for the Boxster instead of the Cayman, because you do have that soft top, but it's not as bad as some other cars that I've sat in. Porsche does really well when it comes to insulating the interiors, when it comes to their soft tops, like the 911s and everything. They do a really good job of doing that, which is credit on Porsche, absolute credit. And the car just handles so well. I mean, it handles so well. Man, it's so good. Now at this point, the only thing left to do is I just want to hear from you guys what you think in the comments about the 718 GTS 4.0. I absolutely love this car. I think this is an awesome choice. If you're shopping for a smaller mid-engine sports car and you're not looking to blow the bag with a 911, because the 911s are expensive, and this is basically the highest trim Boxster aside from the 718 Spider. I mean, this is a great car. You guys saw in the driving portion of it how it's quick, it handles really well, and that interior is absolutely stunning. Leather everywhere. I mean, Apple CarPlay, everything. This is a stunning car, and I don't think you could go wrong with either getting a Boxster or a Cayman. At that point, it's personal preference. But if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the channel for more content like this. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.